Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from Aether Bios, and in our series on mental health and coaching, we're going to talk about trance. Trance is defined as a deep state where we are unresponsive. So that is true of a deep trance, because a deep trance is where we go in a deep state of meditation or hypnosis, which is another form of trance. However, we can function very well in daily trances that we do probably without even realizing it. A trance state is where we don't have to think about everything we're doing. So for example, there's the driving trance. And when you're driving down the road, you don't have to think about moving the pedals, moving the steering wheel, using the indicators, looking. Those have all become automatic, almost unconscious things that we do. Have you ever found yourself driving down the road and although you're fully aware, you're kind of a little bit disconnected from what you're doing, and yet if something happened in a flash, you'd be able to respond? It's because we do things in automatic. It would be exhausting if we had to think about everything, and that is where trance is really helpful. Other things we may do in a trance could be brushing the teeth. So we go and we put the toothpaste on the brush, put the toothpaste down, run the water, lean over the sink even though we don't need to, brush the teeth. And we don't think about which side first, or we do the front or the back or the inside, or do you? I'm sure that we just do that automatically because it's something we've done so many times. And if you start to think about it, you don't really know what you do, you just do it. And that's the beauty of a waking trance, is we can just do things that we've found work for us. Another one might be making your morning coffee. And some of these things get interrupted when we experience stress. Ever gone and put the keys in the bread bin and tried to hang the bread up on the hook? I know this happens because a friend of mine I was staying with once actually couldn't find her keys, and eventually we found them in the bin. So these are the kind of things we do when we get out of sync and we get stressed and we interrupt our patterns, we interrupt our daily trances and start to mix things up. Playing an instrument could be thought of as a kind of trance. We have to think about everything we do in the beginning. If you're playing the piano or the guitar or sax or another wind instrument, you have to think about how you hold it, how you're moving your hands, how you're moving your mouth, what you're doing with your body, and all the different tones and notes, and then the melodies of how they all fit together and the rhythms. That's something that takes a lot of training. And once we've trained all of that, it becomes almost unconscious. We can play a piece without thinking too much about it. We've put it into our unconscious mind, we've put it into our muscle memory, and maybe muscle memory is part of that trance, so we can then go and play a tune without having to think about absolutely every note and get to that stage where we get lost in it. That's that beauty of the trance, where we're awake. So what can you think of that would be a trance? Now, this kind of trance I'm talking about is a waking trance. It's not where you're completely deep and away with the fairies or deep in meditation. It's something that you do in your day-to-day life as you're going about things, and you don't have to think about it because it's automatic. It could be tying your shoes, getting dressed, many different things. Have a look at things you do in your life and just consider, do I have to think about that, or can I just do it because I've trained it and it's become an automatic trance? When we're operating in a waking trance, we're fully aware of what we're doing, we're fully conscious, fully present. We can just divide our attention so we don't have to think about every little thing we're doing. And that's the beauty of working things into our system and learning them in our muscle memory, in our unconscious, so we can do them in that kind of waking trance without having to devote all our attention. Do you remember when you first learnt to drive, if you drive, how much concentration that took? I bet it doesn't take as much concentration now. Perhaps you memorised things in school, poems, and that without having to think too hard, you could bring that poem or that song, particularly songs. You can sing all the songs from your teens without thinking about it. They're just there, you live them, you listen to them, they're in your being, and you can just sing them. It's not about how well you sing them. You know the words, you know what you're doing. If we can do that about things in the past, we can use that now to create a trance of what we do, being fully awake, learning something, almost like programming it into our memory, into our cells, into our unconscious, that we can then just do it naturally and easily and effortlessly. Is there something in your life that you do that you would like to do more automatically, more effortlessly, more easily? How about if there's a way that you can learn to do that? Wouldn't that be amazing? Enjoy your daily trances and being awake and operating in the world while doing other things. Thank you so much.